Welcome. Today I've got Tara from Such Different Skies. I'm so happy because Tara is an amazing coach and a healer in training, but I think she already is a healer. But anyway, doing training too. She's also a speaker, a writer, and she does lots of really amazing things. And you've probably seen her already on the internet, or maybe you've been to her website. But I'm so happy to have you here today, Tara Bliss. Welcome.
Thank you, beautiful. Thank you for having me. Hi.
For those who don't know anything about you, how would you describe yourself and what you do?
Oh man, I am like a big bag of dichotomies. I'm like, I'm all about soul and spirit, but I say lots of swear words. I love meditating. I love skateboarding. I'm a mixed bag. I'm a total mixed bag. I look like a lady today. Tomorrow I'll be walking around in jocks and my husband's singlet. I'm that's the best way I can describe me. I'm just a total mixed bag of Fruit Loops. What is it that I do? I guess I'm like a fear busting pioneer. I help women really not even dissolve their fears, but just transform them so they can live productively from their fear. That's I feel like I have a superpower in that regard. I can really help women transform their fears into rocket fuel. I'm all about living a really courageous life, and I think that our fears get a bit of a bad rap. We really need our fears to live courageously and to overcome adversity and everything like that. So I guess I really love working with women and helping them remember what it's all about. You know what I mean? Like finding the little patches of light when it's dark, and then lighting up the whole room. I always think in metaphors when I try and explain things. I can never really articulate it, but in a paragraph, I help women transform their fears, and I also help them let go of particular identities, and the party girl identity is a big one that I help women release. Yeah, it's all about letting go.
Ah, beautiful. And I think you have such a, I think the reason why so many people and so many women are attracted to what you do is that you have such an open and honest way of sharing. Like you also share the really challenging and difficult parts of yourself, or like what you're struggling with, and everything that's difficult to you. So it's not like it's not like you're saying, I never have any fears and okay, I'm done now, so look at what I do. It's more like, I know what that feels like, because you still feel like that sometimes, and how you do to deal with that, and how our fears can be they're telling us something. Like whenever we're about to take a big leap, of course we have fears coming up as well. Doesn't mean it's the wrong way. It's just like, okay, I'm doing something big now, and that's uh, also not refusing to play it safe. Like I'll just stay in my comfort zone and do what I've always done.
Yeah.
I think it's really interesting, and it's definitely something we have to face at one point if we want to grow and continue to like evolve and do more things and have like live bigger lives.
Yeah. Our fears remind us that we're alive, really. So do nerves, so do, people call it anxiety, but often that sensation is just it's energy. It's energy, and instead of embracing it and really sinking into that feeling, we try and mask it up and push it away and sweep it under the carpet.
Mm.
Yeah, our fears tell us that we're alive and kicking and that we're breathing. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I mean, on my blog, I like to, it's do as I do, not do as I say.
Yeah.
That's and stuff comes up for me all the time, and I'll be sitting there in a bit of an ego trip, and I'll be like, I just got a blog post out of that. Sweet. I'm sure that someone else needed this experience as well. I'm writing for myself as much as I'm writing for everyone out there. So I think that's why there's a lot of kindred spiritness going on. I'm glad I've made so many friends online. I'm very grateful for it.
Mm.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a beautiful world, isn't it? Where you get to connect with like amazing people who inspire you and that you can who you can inspire as well. Like just and this is your job, like
You're right. But they call this work.
yeah.
It's beautiful.
And so I know that you're really into like spiritual stuff and crystals and all that stuff too. One of the questions I ask in the series is, what is spirit to you, and how do you communicate with it?
Mm. What is spirit to me? Oh my God, how do I even explain this without going off into this like poetry ramble? Spirit is that moment when I look out over the ocean and I remember who I am, like who I really am, where I come from. Um, spirit is spirit is kind of like that voice of grace within me that's very like forever gentle and forever like, girlfriend, you've got nothing to worry about. It's all good. If you could see what I could see up here, you would know that it's all good. Um, spirit is, it's just peace. It's real. It's something, spirit is something that I feel around me and through me and in me more and more every day. Every day my connection to spirit gets stronger. It's actually my priority. I fill up my to-do list with spirit. I meditate, go walk on the beach, have a bath. Like it's all, yeah. That's the crux of my existence right now, to be honest. How do I connect? There are a few ways I connect. I use my crystals. They remind me what spirit is. I mean, there's so much wisdom in this piece of rose quartz right here. Like spirit is wisdom, I guess. I have a silence practice. I sit in silence every day. Sometimes I'll just sit there and do nothing. Other times I'll connect in with my chakras. But the ocean is a big draw card for me. Like, whenever I'm there, all I need to do is put my feet in the foam, and I'm like, here I am. Here I am. This is what it's all about. And I just smile. Sometimes I cry. You win some, you lose some. It's either a smile or a tear. But my connection with spirit is sacred and important, and the most important thing in my life. Yeah.
Wow, that's so beautiful. And I think that's something that I can always kind of sense when I read what you write, because it's like you can that feeling and that energy that comes from spending so much time being connected. I think that's really something that comes through in your writing and everything you do, and it makes it really kind of grounded into something instead of being a bit frantic or as when you just write because you want to write. So I think it's really beautiful to come from that place when you do things, because there's just a different rhythm to it, I think.
Yeah, thank you. That's a beautiful, beautiful thing to say. But you're right. The more that you open up, the more you're really, you know what? It's like you're just opening up your hands, and when you do that, and when you let go, it's creativity is just the natural consequence. So you intuitively sense what people need to hear about in your words, and everything flows. As you know, you get more clients. The more connected you are, the more risks you take, the more creative you become, and the more you feel like you're really providing extreme value in the world. I think that's what it comes down to. It's just this big, beautiful loop. Yeah.
Ah, awesome. And do you have any ways that that other people can connect with spirit or feel more connected with whatever they um, whatever spirit is to them? Because I think for some people it can be like the universe or God, or maybe they have a certain name for what it is, or maybe something that doesn't have anything really to do with spirituality or religion, but it's just this connection to life. Do you have any like good ways to do that? That anyone can do, like from like a beginner to someone who's done a lot of spiritual like practicing?
Yeah, okay. So connection to spirit. I think, it gets spoken about a lot, but when you put pen to paper, there's something really organic and really divine about that. So you and I can have a conversation like this, and it's free flowing, and in many ways we're channeling spirit now. But when we're starting out, when we take pen to paper in our journal and we allow that to be a very vulnerable place, that can be a place where we become familiar with that type of grace that I was talking about, that loving, caring presence. So it can be a journal entry. It can be gratitude journaling. It could be asking a question like, who am I? What am I doing here? What am I not seeing? When we're really vulnerable like that, I think vulnerability in itself is a spiritual practice. I think really asking for help and turning to the people around you and going, I just want to feel more connected in my life. I'm not sure how I need to do it, but God damn it, I really want to. So, I mean, that's one really, really basic way. But I think another really cool way is visualizing, visualizing the life that you want, because there's something really angelic about that. Something really angelic about knowing that you can travel off and you can create in that space. You can create your life. It may not feel like it. It may feel like a fantasy. But in actual fact, those visualizations is you in creation mode. The thing is that when those things start to turn up, that's when you feel it. You're like, something bigger is at play here. Something bigger is happening. I had this moment recently. For the last 8 months, I had this picture of me sitting on a beach, looking out with the wind in my hair, with my hand on my knees. And to me, that was the image of freedom. I was living with my mum at the time, and just recently I was down at the beach because I live across the road from the beach now, and I was sitting there and I was like, this is that moment. This is that exact moment that I was visualizing, and here it is. And all you can do is look up and say thank you. So, this is an easy way where people can start. You can close your eyes for 3 deep breaths and feel at home again. Start small. Don't overwhelm yourself. Yeah, that's what I would say.
Oh, that's great. Thank you, Tara. I love those. And I know exactly that feeling when you go, oh, this is what I dreamt of. And
Yeah.
it hits you when you're in that moment and you go, I know this image.
You're right. And sometimes you need something tangible, and that's why like crystals are so beautiful, because
Love that one.
it's gorgeous, isn't it?
Yeah.
You put your dream, put your visualization in a crystal. They're so beautiful to look at that you just think, how, like, whoever created that, like, seriously, that's a pretty rad entity. Like, it's so beautiful.
Definitely.
So bring some crystals into your life. They're just pretty to look at, and they're full of spirit.
Yeah, and sometimes it helps to have things like you light a candle, burn some incense, and even if there's no power necessarily in the candle or in the incense, it's just you give it meaning, so it kind of helps you, put you in like ritual mode. Okay, I'm open now for something else, and I'm opening up my heart for something else. It kind of puts you in the right mood for it. So anything
That's
that
right.
helps for that, I think it's really awesome, because it's sometimes difficult to kind of get off that everyday kind of treadmill thing. So just putting some things in place to help us, I think that's really great. And connecting with nature, like you said, with the ocean. I think that's so powerful, because it's like we don't have to think or do so much. We just go out, and I think that we can all instantly feel that connection.
Yeah, totally. And when you're there in that space, if you can just observe it and just look at it and not even think about what you're looking at, you can just feel it.
Yeah.
You don't look at it and you think, oh, that's a tree. You just feel something from it. And you and I can't put it into words.
No. And it's just this big feeling. It's just it's as if all of nature is just spirit, and when you go there, you just one small part of it, and you feel so connected to it. And I think
Yeah.
I think that's some really easy way for most people to feel that connection. Because
Yeah.
then you get down
Easy.
straight away from your head, and you go, all right.
And it's really symbolic that you just went like that then, because you're so true. You get back into your own body. You get out of this for a moment, and you're just like, well, isn't this nice?
Yeah.
I
Such a
love it.
nice break too, because we're so much in our heads, right? It's just so nice to sink down into the rest of us, because our heads are such a small part of our bodies.
It's so true. It's where we spend all our time.
uh,
So true.
yeah, I know. So, where can we find you, Tara? Because this is really, really lovely, and I love chatting with you, and I'm sure we will see a lot more of you everywhere.
Thank you. Well, I'm at suchdifferentskies.com. Eventually, I'm just going to put it out there because, like I said, we create our lives. Eventually, it will be tarabliss.com. But for now, it's such different skies.
Yay!
Yeah, I've got the Party Girls Guide to Peace, which is my online program. It's going to run again in June. So, for any of your readers that are interested in sort of releasing their self destructive behavior, then more than welcome to jump on my list and download some freebies. But yeah, you can catch me on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram, but just come on over and say hi.
Awesome, and I think there are a lot of people who are doing the Party Girls Guide to Peace now who are really, really happy with it, and I think it's really deep transformational work that you're doing with the girls that you're working with, right?
I kind of tricked them.
Really?
I'm like, oh yeah, you think this is just about giving up the booze? No, no, it's not. It's deeper than that. But yeah, no, they're all loving it. It's great.
Oh, that's great. Well, thank you so much, Tara. It was great talking to you, and have fun with everything else that's going on in your life.
Thank you. I love you and I love your work. This was fun.
Oh, thank you. Love you too.
Bye.
Bye.